But I think that the purpose of this book that was written by her has been blown out of proportion. This is because after reading the book, there are lots of lessons that are not highlighted on the media space in general. Welcome to another session of Hypercity Review. Now, on the 19th of June, social media went into a frenzy when Yvonne released her book, I Am Not Yvonne. Now, the book had what I would say a lot of secrets in it. This is because a lot of people were shocked as to what was revealed in the book. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about the fact that she was pregnant for famous musician Sarkodie, and at the end of the day, she ended up aborting the baby because Sarkodie wasn't ready at that time, or she felt that he wasn't ready to take on the responsibilities as a father at that time. And she also mentioned that her relationship with Inyanya was cut short because she had an information that whenever she's out of the country, a different actress comes to take her place as his girlfriend or whatever. Personally, I think that these two topics were highlighted the most by the media because of maybe PR. They just want to give the book a lot of publicity to increase sales and whatnot. But I think that the purpose of this book that was written by her has been blown out of proportion. This is because after reading the book, there are lots of lessons that are not highlighted on the media space in general. And so in this section, I'm going to review the book, I Am Not Yvonne Nelson by Yvonne Nelson. If you've made it this far, please make sure to subscribe, like, and share because I have a lot of content coming up your way. And so in light of reviewing this book, I decided to break down the review in 4 thematic areas. The first one had to deal with the movie industry or the entertainment industry in our country in general. The second one will have to deal with her love life, which involves relationships, sex, and marriage and whatnot. The third one had to deal with politics. The fourth one will have to deal with her search or her journey as to who her real father is or biological father is, which I think is the root of the title of this whole book, which is called I Am Not Yvonne Nelson. Before I go ahead to review the book in the 4 thematic areas I earlier mentioned, I would like to make known of the things that I took from this book that I think that will also benefit you, or the things that I thought may benefit you, the viewer. Now, the first one that I thought of in reading this whole book was the importance of self-discovery. In the book, she made mention of a lot of obstacles that she faced, that if she hadn't been herself, if she hadn't stood for what is right, she would have lost her way. Now, I think that this book should be of utmost interest to people or young girls that are aspiring to be in the entertainment industry or acting in general. She made mention that there are lots of things that will come your way as a female young talent in the acting space, that if you are not yourself, if you don't tend to be who you are as a female, a strong independent female, to overcome the obstacles, you are definitely going to lose your way. And so I think that a lot of actresses, young actresses that are coming up that would want to enter into the space of stardom and all those things should take a keen interest in reading this book to better well understand the world that they are entering into. Now, the second thing that I think maybe could benefit you if you read this book is the ability to embrace your imperfections. In the book, she made mention of her having an abortion, and I think that that is one thing that a lot of people, maybe in their autobiography, would not want to let out into the public just like that. The fact that she even mentioned that she had an abortion was a crucial part in making this whole book blow up. Like I said before, social media went into a frenzy when the book was released, and this is one of the reasons why, or the main reasons why it went into a frenzy. I think she did that to make people understand her flaws, her ups and downs and whatnot. Because most of the times I think that celebrities in our country or celebrities in general would like to play a life of no flaws. That is, they are without fault or failure. And I think that her mentioning all those things was for us to actually understand what celebrities have to go through in order to paint this perfect picture life that they have to us every day. In reading the book, I felt that she overcame a lot of obstacles. There was a part in the book that talked about her being banned by movie producers and directors just because she had an altercation or a conflict between her and one Abdul Salam Mumuni at that time. Third takeaway or the benefit that I got from reading this book will have to deal with how she overcame some of her obstacles. In the book, you would clearly see that she went under a lot of obstacles while trying to build her career, balancing the acting work with her school work, having to fight with music producers, directors, and having to deal with people in the movie industry that maybe treated her unfairly at some point in time. But she didn't let that break her down. She saw it as an opportunity to strengthen her craft and her abilities in order for her to get the respect that she deserves. The fourth one would definitely have to deal with inspiration. I mean, if you don't have any form of inspiration, you can't write a wonderful book such as this. And so I think that she wrote the book to inspire people to know the importance of self-discovery, to also embrace their imperfections, and to also have the inspiration to overcome obstacles. So the book is generally good. I'm not an avid reader, but when I got hold of the book, I decided that this is one of the best books I've read in a very long time. Okay, so moving on to the 4 thematic areas that I said I would touch on in reviewing this book. The first one I would want us to have a conversation about is the movie or the entertainment industry in general. Her perception was that when she arrived, she saw that the movie or the entertainment industry was controlled by men, obviously, and that some of the producers or directors tend to use that to take advantage of females that want to make it out at all costs. She furthermore went ahead to explain that some of them even made advances towards her, and when she rejects her proposal from them, they tend to be a little bit rude and act all weird. She also suggested that she thinks that this is a normal practice in the movie or the entertainment industry, because when even Abdul Salam Mumuni tend to take a keen interest in her, not romantically though, he tend to take a keen interest in her because he was the only one at a certain time thought that she could make it out, and so he tend to encourage her, and people thought that the relationship they had was more than acting. I mean, it's like Abraham Lincoln said, nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test the true character of a man, give him power. Because also, we live in a country whereby movie producers and directors can just make up a meeting and ban someone. Look at the case of Ejako like this. The man was unfairly treated. If you have people like that in our movie space, I mean, we are not going to move forward in general. I mean, some people can just sit down, that is producers and directors, and say that we are not going to do any movie containing you, or we are not going to introduce you in any movie role whatsoever for at least 1 year, just because they have the power to do so. If we continue doing that, we are not going to move forward as a people. Look at what has happened to our movie industry now. It is dead. Still in the context of giving men power who tend to abuse it, she made mention in the book that at some point in time she was even banned herself. This is because she got into a fight or an altercation, or it was just a simple issue which could have been solved like this. But they decided to have a meeting and say, we are not going to work with you for a whole goddamn year. One of the funniest things about this ban issue is that one of the producers who actually initiated the ban in some form or way went to do a movie with her in it, but couldn't release the movie just because the period for the ban hadn't expired yet. And I think in this situation she seemed very sad, because she made mention that some of the people that banned her were people she actually looked up to when she was a kid, watching them on the TV and whatnot. This is what happens when power is given to a select few individuals. They can decide whatever it is they want to do at any point in time. But this doesn't even come as a surprise to me. I mean, look at our government. Everybody is fighting for the majority in parliament just because they want to do business as usual, a rubber stamp parliament. We take a look at how this parliament was split, and everybody, almost everybody, or whether in the NPP side or the NDC side, were fighting for the approval of the independent candidates. Still on the topic on how she perceived the movie industry or the entertainment industry in general, she then talks about how the movie or the entertainment industry differs in Nigeria to Ghana. She said that everything that happens here in Ghana is twice as big when you go to Nigeria. She said that in Nigeria, everything is all about money. In the book, she made mention that the Nigerian producers and directors are far more effective as compared to what we have in Ghana here. Furthermore, explained as to why the Ghanaian producers and directors do movies which is suited for the Ghanaian audience, but the Nigerian directors and producers look to the global appeal of how the movie will be perceived, which is something our movie industry, if it will be redefined, should be looked upon. I mean, our movies for a couple of years now has been centered towards what the Ghanaian audience would like to view. Just look at the Nigerian movie industry. They are featuring a lot of movies on Netflix and other streaming platforms, but for us, we can't even get our own resumed and restarted. And it is very sad, the state of our movie industry right now. But I hope for better days, because I know that we have a lot of actors and actresses that can do the work. Because when you look at the Yvonne Nelson, Nadia Buhari, Jackie Appiah, Van Veka, John Dumelo, you know, those top actors and actresses in those times, you know, the Gollywood days and the Nollywood days, how top these guys were, how talented they were. I know that, and I feel that there's a time that will come that will get, you know, a golden generation of actors such as that. But I think that the next generation of golden generation of actors and actresses, whatever movie, series, or whatever video they make, should and would appeal to the global audience, rather than looking at the Ghanaian context or only the Ghanaian audiences in the movies that they produce. Now, when you look at love life, sex, relationships, you know, issues, I'm not going to really touch upon that, because I think that a lot has been said on that topic. And so I would just want to say that, I mean, a lot of people get into relationships, things happen in relationships, and so I think that having her daughter has made her realize a lot of things that maybe she was doing that maybe were not necessary at some point in time. And I think that it made her realize that at the end of the day, her daughter is her top priority now. And so the abortion that she had in 2010, Inyanya cheating on her with Tonto Dike, all those things are in the past. And even the guy that proposed to her, she accepted the marriage and was being rude towards her friend, and at the end of the day, she had to send the ring back to him with DHL and all those things. I think is at the end of the day is in the past, and I think that right now her priority is her daughter, of which I know that she would protect and give her all the best things she needs in order for her to grow and become a better individual or a citizen in this country. Now we move to the political aspect of her book, which talks about the vigil that she organized. I know you remember the vigil way back when she organized a lot of celebrities on the streets to protest against the doomsday that was going on at that time. The president at that time was John Mahama, who is looking to contest in the 2024 elections, of which some people think that just because of him, MPP is definitely going to break the 8, but a lot of people also think otherwise. And so she made mention that when she was organizing the vigil, you know, during that process, she had a lot of interference from the ruling government at that time and a lot of support from the opposition government headed by Nana Akufo-Addo. Nana Akufo-Addo even called her to commend her on the activities that she was doing, that is the protest towards the doomsday. Now in the book, she made mention that the whole reason, or the main reason behind the vigil she organized, was due to health reasons. The reason being that she said that her family has a record of glaucoma blindness, which is like a form of blindness which is very permanent, and so the medication that she takes always needs to be in the freezer or in the fridge in order for it to freeze, else the medication will prove ineffective when she uses it. Now here lies the case: there are intermittent power outs, and every time that the power goes out, she would have to go and buy fuel, which drains her financially to fuel her generators. And so all these things turned out to be a nuisance for her. So she went to Twitter, said a lot of things, you know, basically rant. She made a hashtag, Doomsday must stop, and the next morning her phones were blowing up. This is because a lot of people felt the same way as she did. A lot of people were losing their jobs at that time. A lot of people, when they cook, you know, their soup or their delicacies and they put it in the freezer for it to be stored, at the end of the day, when the light off comes in the morning, the food gets spoiled, money has not been well spent. And I know that a lot of you watching this video would remember the hardships in those times. So at a certain point in time, she even had calls from her mother and her supposed father at that time to tell her that she should put a stop to whatever it is she is doing. That is, she was preparing for the vigil at that time. For those of you who remember that vigil back in the day, it was a very big vigil which constituted a lot of celebrities. She said that Sarkodie couldn't make it, but ended up making a song for that particular event or that particular situation that the country was in at that time. The celebrities at that time were well known in the public space, and so this put a lot of pressure on the government, and they literally didn't know what to do. And so in 2016, when Nana Addo was elected as the president of the Republic of Ghana, she said that she took a picture with him, and that was the biggest mistakes that she had ever done in her life, because she didn't know that Akufo-Addo would in turn become the disappointment that he is today. She always saw him to be the no nonsense, disciplinarian president that this country has needed for a very long time. And at the end of the day, she was very disappointed in the running of the country by this president. She also mentioned that the ruling party were actually rooting for her to compete for the Ayawaso West Pogon, where she had one of her best friends from the opposition party, competing for it. And she said that even if she had won to contest for that seat, what made them think that she would go on the ticket of NPP? I guess she has made her stance known on politics. Now we move to the main reason why the book was titled I Am Not Yvonne Nelson. This is the woman who is looking for her biological father in this case. This is the woman who needs answers to a lot of questions that she has been asking about her father since her childhood. Now in this case, under normal circumstances, if you are asking for such questions about who your father is, the best person to tell you who your father is your mother. But unfortunately for her, her mother has decided not to actually tell her the truth, and this has made her relationship with her mother a little bit estranged. Now to me, I think that there are a lot of people in this country that basically just don't know their fathers or their mothers due to one side not telling the full story. But in her case, it's kind of a bit sad to see that her mother basically lied to her about who her father was. That is, at some point she said that her father was Peter Alajete. Now Peter Alajete needs no introduction, as he is a very known man in our political space. Now one would ask, why is her mother keeping that secret from her? Because in the book you would see, or you would understand, that she needs the name of her father in order for some things within her, in order for some questions within her to be answered. One would wonder why a mother would tend to put her daughter in such situations. But I'm not here to judge, I'm just here to review. I know everybody was wishing, after they read the book, was that at the end of the day, her mother will come to a consensus with her and tell her who her real father is, in order to answer a question she has held in herself for about 3 decades. Okay, so the book in general was very good, and I urge everybody that is looking to follow her footstep to success, that is the females that want to enter into the acting space, so that they will better well understand the world that they are getting into. I'm sure there are a lot of things that even took her by surprise that was not even mentioned inside the book. And so I urge every aspiring female actress to read this book, because it will be beneficial for you to better well understand the world, or the entertainment world in general. This is all I have for you. Please make sure to subscribe, like and share, because I have a lot of content coming up your way. I don't think that this is the end of reviewing this book. There are a lot of things that I didn't cover. I just wanted to help people have a basic understanding of things that maybe they might have missed when they were reading the book. This is your boy Ernest. Until then, it's goodbye.